Reince Priebus will serve as President-elect Trump's chief of staff. Reince, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Matt.
Let me ask you just straight ahead. During that intelligence briefing last week at Trump Tower with the head of the FBI, the CIA, DNI, and NSA, was Mr. Trump briefed on the contents of this dossier and the two-page summary of that information?
I'll tell you this. I was in the room, Matt. The first I heard of any of these wild accusations was when someone printed it off of the BuzzFeed website, which, by the way, BuzzFeed themselves said it's not even credible. What I can tell you is that this is not an intelligence document. This is some retired agent somewhere out in the world that was doing opposition research on Donald Trump during the campaign. And I looked into a couple of these accusations. And so I brought one of the accusations was that Michael Cohen, who works in the Trump organization, went to Prague to meet with some Russian agent. The guy's never been to Prague in his life. I told him to give me his passport. I looked through the passport, Matt. He's never been to Prague. And in fact, it was later last evening verified that he was actually in California.
So you saying that the heads of these four intelligence agencies would take the time to brief the president and perhaps give a summary of this information to the president-elect if they thought there was a chance this was simply fake news?
Didn't happen. So and there's certain things I can't say and can say, but what I can tell you is that I was there. And these crazy accusations, that I just talked about, were never discussed.
Right. So have you read the full report, the full 35 pages?
I've read most of it. But what I can tell you is that even the New York Times last night refused to publish this document, which is not an intelligence document. Keep in mind, this is some retired guy somewhere out in the world acting like Ian Fleming, apparently trying to maybe write a fiction novel. I don't know what he's doing.
Although we have to say that in the past he has been a credible source. Although in this case, he has said to have gotten information from other sources who cannot be verified within Russia.
Okay, so someone in the past that's been a source somewhere in something that you don't know about is now somehow attached to this document that not even the New York Times will publish, which bases its entire report on a meeting in Prague that never happened. The guy's never been to Prague. And here we are on the Today Show, one of the greatest morning shows in the history of America, talking about stupidity.
Well, so let's
actually an offensive crap that we shouldn't even be talking about. And BuzzFeed itself said that it is not credible. The New York Times said it was done by opposition researchers that wanted to hurt Trump during the campaign. This is garbage.
Okay, now let me just ask you this, though.
Shameful is what it is.
Well, let me just ask you this. Have you taken the time to just look Mr. Trump in the eye and say to him, here's what they're alleging. Can you tell me point blank none of this ever happened?
He said it was total garbage, and I'm keeping it clean.
So why do you believe that the Intelligence Committee would hand over this document if it's total garbage?
I don't know if they did or didn't. If they did, then shame on them. But I don't know where this came from. Look, this guy is a paid political operative. It's not like he's a guy that's in the intelligence community in the UK. This is a guy who retired, opened up a shop, gets paid by political operatives to go dig up dirt and create these memos. This is not an intelligence document. An intelligence document doesn't have handwritten page numbers on the corner. It's not. And the other thing I can tell you is if this was actually something our intelligence community believed in, it would have been published for the public in the rest of the report that was available to the public. So obviously it wasn't credible enough for them to actually put in a document for the public to see.
The timing of this, Reince, came on the eve of this news conference, this long-awaited news conference from President-elect Trump today. Will he address this at the head of that news conference?
I mean, it might come up, but I would imagine his answers are going to be very similar to what you just heard me say, which is, honestly, guys, if the thing is based on a meeting in Prague, when the guy that was supposed to be meeting was never in Prague his entire life, it's verifiable. I mean, the news media is this is going to be decided whether he was in Prague or not. He's never been to Prague in his life. It's been reported he was in California.
Was there?
I don't even know why we're talking about this.
Okay, there is one other side of this.
This is a document that's been floating around for months.
Let me just, again, just because it's important, this story is going to develop or go nowhere. You're right about that. Let me just ask you for the record, can you say with 100% confidence that Mr. Trump or any aide or former aide nor his lawyer had any contact with Russian intelligence officials or the Russian government during the campaign?
Here's what I can tell you. I questioned folks on this matter. I've been a litigator for 14 years before I took this job. I looked at the passport page by page. It was then verified that this person wasn't in Prague, he was in California. It didn't happen. And the other salacious garbage that was in this report didn't happen. So look, we're talking about fake news. It's shameful. It isn't a document that came from our intelligence community. It's Oppo research that's been floating around for months.
But Reince, I'm not sure that's what Matt was asking. I think he's asking, can you say with 100% confidence that Mr. Trump or anybody in his campaign had no conversations with anybody in Russia during the campaign?
No, I mean, I'm just telling you, it's all phony baloney garbage. And so I've read this thing on BuzzFeed. There's nothing to it. But look, I mean, I know you guys are going to keep talking about it, but I think it's just one of these shameful things that bubbled up at the last second here before the press conference, and it's too bad.
I don't think you could have stated your side of it any more strongly, and we appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Reince, thank you very much.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.